Nigel Sloan here in the streets of Toronto to root out media, myth, fact or legend. Essentially, is it is or is it ain't on TV, radio and the internet. Today, we're using the National Post as our guidepost, our beacon. The National Post, of course, read by people who actually run the country. The Toronto Star, read by people who think they run the country. And of course, the Toronto Sun, read by people who don't care who the hell runs the country, as long as she's wearing a wet t-shirt. There's a story in today's National Post that George Bush went into a restaurant in Washington and asked the very attractive waitress for a quickie. He was soon corrected, and apparently it was pronounced quiche. Do you believe that?
With George Bush, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Whether it came from a blog, a reputable newspaper, or a reputable television organization?
I could believe it with George Bush.
George Bush?
George Bush.
Probably. Anything's possible.
I would believe that.
You'd believe that, would you? Okay, fine. Now, underwater nude midget kickboxing. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
Well, there we are. See, Grove City, Iowa, they have launched the world headquarters of the underwater nude midget kickboxing league. If this was on Live League, they had footage. If you saw it, would you believe it?
Not as plausible as the George Bush story.
I'd have to see it to believe it.
Yeah, I would.
Why?
Because I saw it with my own eyes.
Do you believe the lung capacity of the vertically challenged could cope with the travails?
An excellent point. I hadn't actually considered that.
Okay. Canadian Idol, do you watch a show?
I have to watch it because my wife forces me to watch it.
Well, that keeps my marriage together too, now you mention it. Would you think the show's rigged in any way?
Not really. I know enough people that watch it.
No, it wouldn't occur to me to be rigged, no.
If I was a multi-millionaire, big-ass TTV producer, you wouldn't let some spotty teenagers from, Halifax, Nova Scotia decide the fate of my show. Would you go out and buy the winner's album?
Not a chance.
Me too. Thank you, William. Right. Good job. Thanks very much. Well, there you have it from the streets of Toronto. In the immortal words of P.T. Barnum, there's a sucker born every minute. However, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but not all of the people all of the time. Nigel Sloan for proof.